Hi submarine friends, let's talk variable ballast tanks and how they differ from one submarine to another. So in this submarine, the diesel submarine, this has a variable ballast tank inside like I've talked about lots before, but I'm going to clarify some things. So main ballast tank in the back, main ballast tank in the front. All they do is hold the submarine high out of the water. That's their only function. So that's the only job they have to do. The internal ballast tank, the variable ballast tank, that's the business end of the submarine. That's where the control comes from. So when all the air is vented from the two main ballast tanks, the submarine has not submerged. It won't submerge until I put water in the variable ballast tank. So let the air out, give it a second to stabilize itself, then start filling the variable ballast tank. Just open a valve, water starts to rush in. It comes in slower than the two main ballast tanks because you need finer control. So the submarine starts to submerge slowly. As soon as the water level is over the window on the hatch, you shut it off. That's it. Now, the submarine is not going to dive and it's not going to surface. It's just sitting at the surface. So now you either use propellers and motors to drive it to the bottom, or you use dive planes, travel forward, dive planes bent, down she goes. So that's how this submarine would get to the bottom. This submarine is different. This submarine has the two main ballast tanks, one on each side. I added those to this deep worker. This enables me to get in and out of the submarine from a boat. I don't have to lift the sub out of the water to get into it. Fantastic feature, one of a kind. Anyways, the next ballast tank this submarine has is underneath the leg tube. It's just a plastic tank with a big opening in the bottom so it's not pressurized. That stays full of air. When I release the air out of these two tanks, the submarine drops to about this height on the domes. Then I release the air from the plastic ballast tank in the bottom. This valve right here is actually what does the work. There's a lever inside, but the valve is outside. So that valve will release the air until the submarine, same thing, is just under the water. But with this submarine, I can propel it down with these thrusters right here. These are the vertical thrusters. Or I can let a little more air out so that it's heavier now, so it's not at an equilibrium anymore, and the submarine submerges to the bottom of the lake. As it's submerging, I have to keep giving it shots of air back into that plastic tank because the air volume in that tank is shrinking because the pressure from the water, the ambient pressure, is compressing that air. All divers will know about this. And so the submarine will actually accelerate as it's dropping. But these things don't drop fast no matter what because they're just not shaped to drop fast. So once I start getting to the bottom, close to the bottom, I have a sonar inside that tells me how far I am, what my altitude is off the bottom. I start giving it more and more air until it slows right down, and I try to not touch the bottom. It takes practice, but that's the fun thing about piloting this submarine. You actually have to pilot it. You have to do stuff. You don't just sit there and let it all happen. That's kind of fun. So that's how this one works. Now when I want to surface this one, I put air into the plastic ballast tank. Not these big guys, just the plastic ballast tank. And she'll start to come up to the surface. As soon as I get to the surface, I blow all the air out of that ballast tank, the plastic one, plus I blow all the water out of the plastic tank by pushing air into it. Same with these. These are full of water. I push the water out with compressed air. All the tanks are full of air. She's riding high again. That's how it works. It's that simple. Now there's another system, which was what the Kittredge submarines have, and that's a pressure ballast tank underneath the submarine, which is their variable ballast tank. So that's a whole other system. Plus there's submarines that don't even use these ballast tanks, but we can go over that in another video. So, ciao for now.